There's a lot of sentimental cultural value in Morocco with Moul Hanout. It's a very important figure in the Moroccan society. Hanouts are ready for digitalization, but it has to be done right. We are the first today in Morocco to say, listen, we are your partner. We are the platform of trust. Whatever market you want to be in, I will not interrupt your business. I will just bring the digital tools to allow you to do what you do today in a better way. We have today the opportunity, a golden opportunity, to really be the leaders in Africa. My DNA is screaming entrepreneurship. If there's room for me to really create impact and change the lives of tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people, that would be a drive that would get me up every day.
Samer, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Mohammed. It's my pleasure. I am really honored, very excited to be here. And I'm looking forward to having an interesting, enjoyable conversation with you.
Yeah, actually, we already started talking and it was very, very interesting. I hope you'll say again the stories you told me because it was very, very interesting.
Inshallah.
And I'm sure we'll learn a lot with you today.
Inshallah.
So you're the co-founder of Z.Systems, right?
I am the co-founder of Z.Systems along with Meriem Benabad, Youssef Ait Haddouche, and Rida Nabri.
Yeah. So sometimes we said Z, sometimes we say Z.Systems. So you'll tell me what you prefer. But really happy to talk about this company. I'm hearing a lot about this Z.Systems. You signed a very interesting deal with the Ministry of Morocco of Trade, of Industry and Trade of Morocco this week, actually a few days ago. So we'll
on Monday,
talk about it.
September 29th.
The first question that I want to ask you is something I told you just before the podcast. So when people are talking about Z.Systems, everyone knows that you're digitizing the traditional retail sector. So let's say Moul Hanout for the Moroccan people that are hearing us, these small retail stores that are everywhere in Morocco. But I don't think people really understand the difference between what you're building and companies that maybe exist in Africa or Morocco, like Wasoko, Max ABB4, Maxeb, Sheri in Morocco. So what's the difference and what are you trying to build today with Z.Systems in Morocco?
All right. So when I was in Saudi Arabia, we used to hear about a company called Sari. Okay. And Sari is a great company by a great leader, Mohammed al-Dosari. And they just got funded by some big funds, sovereign wealth funds in Saudi. And they did a merger with another company in Bangladesh, if I'm not mistaken, and they came up with Silk. All right. So, but I never paid any attention to that space. I was in hospitality. And one day we were sitting down with with our lead investor, and we heard that there was a company in Egypt that became distressed, and the founders disappeared. All right. So that's when I got exposed first time to this industry. And fast forward a couple of years, I ended up working in FMCG on a contract in Morocco. And it was a very interesting space. It's very detail-oriented. It's, to some degree, very CapEx heavy. All right? So most of the startups that existed in this space, especially in Africa and Middle East region, claim to want to disrupt the industry because it's highly undigitalized. But it's evident today that the approach does not work. This model where you buy products, store them, and then sell them on an app, pushing the sales process with flash promos, and then delivering those products financially is not sustainable. The unit economics do not support it.
That you're talking about is like a digitalized wholesaler.
Exactly.
Is it like that you see it?
Exactly. It's 100%.
So the
You end
usual
up-
model that we see in Africa is like you buy from the brands.
No, even it's worse because the brands, they boycott these models. Why?
Okay.
Because they're a nuisance, right? They pollute the market with the pricing. Brands don't like this.
Because they want to compete on the market. These companies.
Yes.
To compete on the price.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and a lot of them were VC funded. So the concept back then of burning money to have hyper growth was very common.
Okay.
So I would buy, for example, a bottle of water at $1, and it's okay to sell it at 90 cents, for example. You get the point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So what ended up happening was the brands did not support that model, specifically in Morocco. We know this because we had the experience firsthand with Awal. So you end up becoming a digital wholesaler with a model that is burning money day after day, year after year. You have a lot of complexity on the operations side. And one of the limiting factors, this was very interesting, it's managing the purchasing of your inventory. Because the margin, how do you make the margin? The margin is the spread between the price you sell, net price after the trade promotions, minus the cost of purchasing those products, right? So when you're buying from a wholesaler, you don't get any of the benefits that you get when you're buying directly from the brand. The wholesaler already has his own margin factored into the price.
So the startups are buying from wholesalers.
No, some do buy from brands, but again, not at. They don't have any good deals with
the brands because the brands don't like this model.
Yes, they're not supportive. So what ends up happening is your margin does not cover your operating cost.
Can it be profitable, or is it like intrinsically bad unit economics? Like
it's intrinsically bad unit economics.
How do you explain this? Is it operational costs that will always be higher than the margins? What's the...
Because you're competing with wholesalers. Wholesalers intrinsically don't have high margins.
Okay.
Right? So when you're a digital wholesaler, all you're doing is selling through an app. Really, that's the only disruption you've made.
Because maybe the thing that when you say this, the thing that I want to say is maybe the tech and the economies of scale can eventually at the end be profitable or not?
No, because you don't have economies of scale. When the brands don't support you, you don't have economies of scale. Because like if you're operating in Casablanca, you need a warehouse. Right?
Okay.
And you need 30 trucks. And these trucks, you need 30 drivers. Now, if you want to start covering new markets like Marrakesh, you need to open a new warehouse in Marrakesh, and you need to have another 30 trucks in Marrakesh. So where is the economies of scale? The only economies of scale is your bargaining power, because now you're buying bigger volumes. But you're already buying bigger volumes at the best prices possible that you have access to. So there's so little that you can save in terms of value on the volume purchases.
Are you even saying that scaling brings like more complexity?
Yes.
So it's the reverse. Like it's not economies of scale. It's
you burn more money.
You burn more money while you're getting bigger.
You burn more money while you're getting bigger. Just centralized purchasing alone will involve a lot of complexity, because once you hit the 700 to 800 SKUs in your portfolio, the complexity doesn't become linear anymore. It becomes exponential.
Why?
It's portfolio management. It becomes very difficult to maintain competitiveness in your procurement process.
When you have too many SKUs.
Yes. And the complexity of the picking and the dispatch process becomes extremely difficult to manage. Because imagine you have a warehouse with 800 products, and you start your loading, you start your picking and loading at 12 a.m. Your people are in the warehouse. They go. They have an order that they have 800 SKUs to pick from, right? When you go to 2000, imagine physically on the ground today. Those people now have to fetch those products from 2,000 SKUs in the warehouse. So the complexity on the purchasing, the complexity on managing competitiveness on the pricing on the app, like the price to trade, because you've got other competitors, you need to stay competitive. So the way...
And did companies manage to go beyond this exponential complexity? Like when I think about Amazon warehouses with millions of SKUs and everything.
Of course.
So is it eventually possible?
Yes, 100%.
What's the price of doing it?
Very high capex in terms of automating your warehouse.
Okay.
And the investment required to automate a warehouse to manage retail level operations would cost around $10 million. And the return on investment is not justified. And I don't think in Morocco, the market is big enough to justify making an investment like this.
Very interesting.
Yeah. We looked at models where you have a fully automated robotic warehouse and everything is done automatically, but the cost is very high.
Is it worth it in Morocco? Because the wages are not really high, and the automation costs a lot. So
exactly.
And the market, your market is big, but
it's a big market, but it's not the US. So when you compare Amazon and they make these investments in the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in infrastructure and logistics, I can see why they do that, right? In Morocco,
they're building like a moat for.
It's a moat, and the market is too big. It justifies whatever investment you make.
And they lost money, I think, for
20 years.
For 20 years,
Jeff Bezos. We had a case at Columbia in value investing course about Amazon. It's very interesting. The guy kept losing money
for 20 years.
Almost, I think, 15
that's
years.
Some conviction.
And he made a bet, and a lot of people made a bet that one day it's going to turn around and he's going to own the market, and he did.
Okay. If this model doesn't work, what does work?
All right. So one, we said, okay, brands.
So FMCG brands.
FMCG brands kind of, I don't want to say they boycott, but they're not supportive. Okay, let's put it that way, to be fair with them. You don't have the supports of the brand, and internally managing your operations is very OpEx heavy. Managing the portfolio management on the buy side and the sell side is too complex beyond a certain number of SKUs. I believe it's like 800. Meriem usually says it's 1,000. Doesn't matter really. It's still a limiting factor. So we said, okay, how do we overcome these complexities and these barriers, right? And how can we do things differently than all the other players who have tried over the past 10 years?
Just a quick question. What's the total SKUs for this kind of retailers?
Okay, so
20,000.
Yes,
something like that.
If you look at modern trade, depending on the size of the store you're visiting, if you go to a Carrefour or Marjan, depending on the size, you would have anywhere from 10,000 SKUs up to 20,000, maybe a bit more.
And for Moul Hanout, traditional retail stores,
it's very complex. I'll tell you why. Because a typical Moul Hanout can carry up to 700, 800 SKUs. But if you go in any neighborhood and you do a survey, you will discover that in that vicinity you'd have up to 15,000 SKUs.
Okay.
Exactly.
So people are buying 15,000 different stuff.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
So the collective...
So maybe in different stores or the same stores doesn't always have the same things.
100%. Because the Hanout adapts their portfolio to their market. Who's the market? It's the neighborhood. So if you're in Ain Diab, you're going to probably carry different products than Hanout who's in Sidi Othman.
Yeah.
right? And you understand why, because it's a different market. So you, as a digital operator, I need to really be relevant to both if I want to capture that bigger market. So having a good assortment in your portfolio is key. And over the past 5 months, we have looked at activations in retailers with the correlation on the number of SKUs we had in our portfolio. And the correlation is so clear. We started with 200 SKUs in Z in April because we launched the marketplace on April 23rd. And we had just 14 stores. In August, we had 34 stores live, and we had 1,094 SKUs.
9,000?
1,094.
Okay.
1,094 SKUs that were live.
Okay.
And we noticed the correlation, like if you look at the activations between April and August, you'll see that we started with very low number of users, below 1,000. And in August, we had 8,000 active users, retailers on the market, on the Z app, right? And we believe it's also a direct correlation because you become relevant. The more products you have on the marketplace, the more retailers will want to join that marketplace.
Okay. So we went to SKUs, but let's go back to the model. What's a marketplace model for traditional retail stores? What you're actually trying to do?
Yes. All right. So it goes back to the complexity again. So the idea was, listen, why do I need to manage the complexity myself? Why don't I delegate this complexity? I delegate it to the market. I outsource it, right? You know how to manage your business. What are you missing today as a brand? You're missing the digital capabilities. A lot of brands have invested heavily in like loyalty programs. They failed to deliver.
Loyalty with the retailers
and with the wholesalers as well.
Okay.
Right? Today, many companies, even the biggest companies, they still manage these loyalty programs manually. Like it's in the corporate memory of the salespeople who are managing the relationship.
Okay.
So what happens is this salesperson in a market like Gaza, for example, you have a high turnover in salespeople. So a guy will stay with you for 6 months or 9 months, and then he will move to another company. What happens with the retailers who were engaged on this loyalty program?
They move to the new company.
The retailers lose the history of the loyalty program. So they don't get the rewards they were promised. And this has essentially, over the years, eroded the trust in brands. Today, if you go to any Hanout and talk to them, tell them, I'm launching a loyalty program, you will feel that there is a fatigue, that they don't care anymore. They don't believe you, right? Because they tell us this has been tried, we have been promised by company X, by company Y, and then all of a sudden, nothing happened. Nobody delivered on any promise. So we're changing that. So delegating the complexity to the market, providing the digital tools. One of the things Awal was very successful in doing in Morocco was proving that digital adoption with the Moul Hanout actually works. Before we shifted fully to Z, Awal had reached 88% autonomous orders on the app.
To simplify, we can say that Awal, the company you worked on before with your co-founder, is kind of the same model that the companies we talked about in the beginning of the conversation.
Exactly.
Digitizing, but traditionally, let's say, because that's the model we saw the last few years. This
a digital wholesaler.
Digital wholesaler. Okay. So what you were saying is that you validated a hypothesis, which is you can have digital adoption of an app.
100%. Hanouts are ready for digitalization.
Only downloads or real usage?
Real usage, real engagement. They're ready for this, but it has to be done right. Okay.
What does that mean?
You need to be consistent. You need to deliver on your promises. You need to understand what problems the Hanout is facing today. And they have so many problems. And the Moul Hanout is, I believe, one of the most overlooked people in the market today.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why?
You go and interview and talk to any Moul Hanout, and you will see that they are being torn apart in so many different directions by so many different problems.
Okay.
And culturally in Morocco, Moul Hanout is a very, very fundamental figure in the community, right? Historically, a lot of things centered on Moul Hanout. Moul Hanout is where you would keep your key when you want to leave your home for 2 days. Moul Hanout is the person who would know your kids and who would know your family, who would know your father. Moul Hanout in Morocco, historically, when you talk to them, they said we were the resistance in Morocco. We started there's a lot of sentimental cultural value in Morocco with Moul Hanout. It's a very important figure in the Moroccan society. And what is even more important, in a country that has no credit systems, and where 70% of the population are almost 100% captive consumers in the traditional trade sector.
Yeah.
Moul Hanout becomes essential even because they are the de facto bankers of the underbanked.
The de facto buy now, pay later company of the
exactly.
You know,
if you take that away, the fabric of Moroccan economy would collapse.
Yeah. Because everyone has
Everyone. We did a study on the credit for Moul Hanout. 83% of Moul Hanouts provide credit to consumers.
83% accept.
Not accept. They provide the credit.
Yeah.
It's existing, right? And you'll be surprised, depending on neighborhoods, this credit can go anywhere from 500 dirhams a month to 5,000 dirhams a month, even more, depending on the neighborhood. So if you're in an affluent neighborhood, you probably have higher credit limits. Yeah. And every Moul Hanout would
By the way, I think, funnily, Moul Hanout can provide every credit score of every one of the inhabitants of the neighborhood and maybe the country.
Exactly. They are your best credit rating
agency
that is very reliable. They really know at heart.
Are they doing good on a financial economic perspective?
No,
why not?
They are struggling. Again, we go back to the so many challenges that Moul Hanout is facing. It's a very tough business to be in. Imagine you have to be up in the morning, very early. You're up on your feet all day until late at night. You're dealing with hundreds of customers every single day. You don't make a lot of money being a Moul Hanout. Your average margin is anywhere from 5 to 10%. We estimate at 7%. And then you have the fear from the tax authorities, right? Because there's some ambiguity there, although there is a progress from the authorities to have more clarity and a more structured system with Moul Hanout. But still, in the event on Monday, it was highlighted as we have some issues, structural issues. Moul Hanout is not paying; they're not paying taxes.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think it's out of bad faith. I think it's more their ability to make those payments. Right. And there's a lot of things that goes on in the psyche of Moul Hanout.
Je fais une petite pause dans cet épisode pour te parler de mon partenaire que j'adore, Hostinger. Lorsqu'on crée une entreprise, il y a une étape importante, créer son site internet. Et cette étape de création d'un site web demande souvent beaucoup de temps et d'investissement, surtout si vous travaillez avec des développeurs freelance ou avec des agences. C'est pour ça que je voulais vous parler d'Hostinger, un outil simple d'utilisation qui vous permet de créer vous-même, en un week-end, un site avec un rendu ultra professionnel. C'est une plateforme tout en un, alimentée par l'IA Hostinger. 2 solutions s'offrent à vous. Vous pourrez créer votre site avec un éditeur et des templates préconçus ou directement en discutant avec une IA. Si vous choisissez l'éditeur, vous décrirez votre idée rapidement et une première version sera créée. Ensuite, vous pourrez modifier chaque bloc du site facilement avec une interface intuitive. La deuxième option, c'est Hostinger Horizon. J'ai fait un test, j'ai écrit une phrase simple pour demander à l'IA de créer un site pour mon podcast et j'ai été impressionné par le résultat. En quelques minutes, le site a été généré et je pouvais ensuite le modifier simplement en discutant avec l'IA. Ensuite, il suffit d'appuyer sur publier et c'est en ligne avec l'hébergement, le nom de domaine et l'adresse email professionnelle déjà inclus. Si vous venez de notre part, vous aurez une réduction de 10% sur les produits Hostinger. Pour ça, il suffit d'utiliser le code NEXTWAVE. Je vous remets ce code en description. Sur ce, on reprend l'épisode.
So we'll talk about the challenges of Moul Hanout, but let me, before that, talk more about Z.Systems and how the concept came to life. So we said, let's delegate all the complexity to the market. Let's provide the digital tools that are missing today. And let's win the trust of the brands. So we are the first today in Morocco to say to the brands, listen, we are your partner. We are the platform of trust between you and the Moul Hanout. We will give you full control on your go-to-market strategies. So I will never interfere with your pricing. I will give you a system, just like Amazon. You can go set up your store, your digital store on Z. You configure whatever market you want to be in, like you are in today. I will not interrupt your business. I will just bring the digital tools to allow you to do what you do today in a better way. And I'll give you the ability to control your product portfolio. More importantly, I will give you the ability to connect with whatever fulfillment service provider that you want in any market that you operate in.
So you're the marketplace where, so the brands have digital stores, the retailers can buy from them.
Exactly.
And the fulfillment, like the shipment, is Uberized, like.
No, not Uberized per se on right now.
So who is doing it?
Okay. This is one of the things we did differently. We said, why do we want to, quote unquote, disrupt the industry? I don't want to bypass anybody. Why don't I integrate the existing players? Every wholesaler today in Morocco has a warehouse and has trucks.
Yeah.
Why don't I leverage these, right? Why don't I go to the wholesaler and tell him, listen, you're working with company X. I'll bring you the orders and I'll tell company X, you deliver these orders. So this is how we turned wholesalers into fulfillment service providers. It's kind of like a gig economy, but at scale, at a bigger scale.
So the wholesalers will go through you, ideally, and the brands will go through you.
Yes.
And these wholesalers will ship, actually.
Yes. And we also connect the retailers with the wholesalers directly. So the retailer has an option today to buy directly from the brand or to buy from the wholesaler. And what is unique is if they buy directly from the brand, they will avail of loyalty rewards. So once you engage properly on your availability and your turnover, you will win loyalty rewards on that engagement.
Who's earning loyalty? The retailers or
Yes, the retailers?
The retailers.
The Moul Hanout will earn loyalty.
So it's an incentive to go through
Exactly.
your system.
To go through our system and to create affinity and trust with the brands.
Okay.
All right. How did we approach this? We go back now to Moul Hanout and we said, okay, what are the challenges of Moul Hanout? Moul Hanout today is, if they keep 3,000 to 5,000 dirhams in their pocket net, 3,000 to 5,000 dirhams.
3,000 to
per month.
5,000 net.
Net. They would be doing well. So we said, how can I really make his life better, his or her life? Because we have female Moul Hanouts, by the way. we said we need to help them make more income. We need to help them earn more. So can I design a loyalty program that rewards Moul Hanout and help him or her make more money? And this is exactly why we embedded the loyalty program. Why would a brand be willing to pay a Carrefour or Marjan a back margin if they hit certain volumes or targets on a quarterly basis or yearly basis?
Because they pay them more.
No.
The margins and
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
No, they pay them less. Actually, brands don't make money from modern trade.
They don't earn money from...
It's a window shopping necessity.
No, I wanted to say that
trade.
brands pay these companies more.
Yes, they pay them a lot more.
So they pay more and they earn less with them.
Yes,
but they have to be there.
They have to be there. It's the necessary evil.
On awareness
FMCG. Yes,
perspective.
it gives you the brand notoriety and also the authority as a brand. You start with modern trade. When you're there, you have that legitimacy to be everywhere. Although there are interesting stories of brands who did it the other way. They started in
bottom up
and a souk. Yes, and they went to rural and then they went up to. But that's the exception.
Like what brand?
Very inspiring story by Mr. Soufiane Bada and how Dalaa, the Kush Dalaa, the baby diapers category. It's one of the most fascinating stories I've seen.
Tell me more about it, because you worked with him,
yes.
And also your co-founder, I think, worked also with him.
Yes,
I would love to know more about this story.
So I wasn't there. I can tell you what I learned from being close to Mr. Soufiane Bada.
Because it's one of the big successes in Morocco.
So it was Pampers back then that owned the market, and they were relying on data from Nielsen.
They were relying
on data, market data, like market share, numerical distribution, weighted distribution, share and shop, all of that from Nielsen IQ. I don't know how they were doing, like gathering the data back then, but they had blind spots. Okay, so one day, Procter & Gamble, they woke up to discover that Dalaa has a significantly higher market share than they initially thought.
Based on...
Yes, and to my knowledge, it was a big deal back then, and it was too late. And this is where the Dalaa group really, they conquered the diapers market in Morocco. It was one of the most inspiring, fascinating stories I've ever seen in my life.
Was it, as you said, bottom up?
It was bottom
going
up.
Through every rural place, small city, Moul Hanout, and then going to the modern...
wholesalers, Moul Hanout in the souk, it was really bottoms up, really. And there was
on the ground.
Yes, and there was a lot of hard work, a lot of perspiration that went into that. It was really like fascinating.
Okay. Inspiring.
Story. Very inspiring. So this tells you also the importance of data. And there was an interesting story that happened last year. Another blind spot happened in the same industry. Again with Nielsen IQ. One day, the folks woke up and discovered that there is a new brand from Turkey that has not been captured in the data. And you had the same issue kind of like repeating, but at a smaller scale.
In Morocco?
Yes.
In the same market?
In the same category, in the same market. Because you had Beam. Beam now operates over 700 stores. And their strategy is they work with Moroccan brands, but for every brand, Moroccan brand, they will bring a Turkish brand. So there was a brand that was kind of creeping up on the market leader and all the other players without anybody noticing. And one day, Nielsen decided to adjust their data reporting mechanism, and they discovered this new brand in the market that had significantly high market share, at least in modern trade.
Yeah. What's really interesting is that the best data comes from the ground, from the work. And you're gathering very interesting data because you mapped the retailers, right? You also have data about the sales and the different kind of products that they buy and that are sold every day. What's your approach about this? What can be extracted from this? How do you approach data?
As Meriem Benabad would always say, data is power. Today, the way you win in the FMCG space is having visibility on the market. If you don't know how much market share you have, it would be impossible to formulate a strategy, a winning strategy to acquire market share, because you can't control what you can't measure, right? So the most important thing in this space is you need to have reliable data, timely data. When you rely on Nielsen IQ data, you can get good indicators, right? But when you want to start, start going granular, like if I can know today, like I have a 70% market share in a certain category.
Mm-hmm.
But then how do you optimize, right? To optimize, I need to have the visibility at second layer and third layer, like granular. I need to know in this neighborhood in Tetuan, or in this neighborhood in Tanja, or in Larayish, on this street, what is my market share and what is going on with my sales? What is my out of stock situation? Once you have that kind of visibility, you would be able to overcome all the blind spots and you would be able to capitalize on missed opportunities.
Okay.
And that's why brands are willing to pay top dollars for data. Like contracts can be, yearly contracts can go up to like $60,000 a year just to get 12 snapshots
Of data.
Of data, like once every month.
To really understand the market and
exactly.
how they can optimize. What's the highest leverage thing they can do to...
Exactly.
Maybe it's a geography, maybe it's a product, maybe it's...
It's a mix of things.
Yeah.
Pricing, you can go discover like the distributor you're working with in the north is not abiding by your pricing strategy. So they're underperforming and your competitor is competing on the price and they're really taking market share from you in that specific market.
The retailers, are they all individual or you have some consolidation in some places where you're talking with someone but like he has multiple stores, multiple Moul Hanouts?
So the vast majority are individuals, but we have seen lately that some semi-wholesalers are now starting to expand into multiple point of sale models.
Mm-hmm. Like a consolidation build-up model?
Not necessarily a consolidation, but more like a traditional semi-wholesaler. Would say, okay,
with stores.
Let me open another store for my son. I'll get my cousin to run a third store. Like I know a guy in Marrakesh who has 5 stores, but that's about it. Like it's not the common.
Is it something that can have economies of scale and something that can be consolidated or not?
It's possible. It's possible, but I don't think they have the technological capabilities. So once you're at 5 stores, again, we go back to technology. How are you going to manage it?
Maybe it's more like a real estate business.
I also I don't think it's a real estate business.
Okay.
I think it's a natural extension to your growth strategy as a traditional semi-wholesaler. So you have a store, you have a lot of stock, and you say, okay, why not? I'll just rent a shop somewhere down the street. I'll get my brother or my cousin or maybe my son. They'll come and just sit in that store.
And why not? Yeah.
So very traditional, not strategic.
How did you find the idea of this model of the marketplace? And before the podcast, you told me about this concept, very interesting, where you told me that you're an intuitive guy and that there's this strategic intuition concept.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about it and
Absolutely.
explain how you understood and had the idea of this concept of marketplace?
Absolutely. And this is very interesting. My favorite course at Columbia Business School was called Napoleon's Glance. And the Professor William Duggan, actually wrote a book. You can buy the book. It's called Napoleon's Glance. And this book talks about strategic intuition. Not intuition, strategic intuition. And the best way to understand what strategic intuition is, it's what drives innovation in your mind, right? And what a lot of people don't get about innovation is does not come out of vacuum. It's not like I wake up one day and I innovate something totally new. No. Innovation is the way your mind works, or the brain, biologically and chemically, how the neuroscience works, is you would take different blocks of experiences, things you read, stories you heard, case studies you worked on, from different countries, from different times, from different industries. And that aha moment, what we don't know, that when I said I had an aha moment, this is the strategic intuition. It's like when you see the light inside your mind, and it's really an aha moment. Nobody understands where it comes from. Your mind connects different things to come up with something new. So let me tell you how this works with Z.Systems, right? So when I was in Canada, I worked with the market leader in e-commerce furniture, right? Furniture and e-commerce is very difficult. So they were the leaders in adapting their furniture design and packaging.
Hard because big
exactly.
So shipment and costs and
exactly. So it's pure e-commerce play. So you will go and order a couch. And this couch will be
direct to consumer.
And it's a very interesting model. And when I was with that company, it's called Durell Home. They were doing around $800 million a year selling furniture to the US from Canada. And it just happened, I was doing D2C, and I was running on the merchant side, the stores of Durell on Amazon, eBay, and Walmart. So I know how it works on the merchant side. You need to have a digital storefront. You upload your products. You control your pricing, and so forth, right? So now fast forward, I am in Morocco, and I'm looking at this problem and an opportunity. And I'm saying, okay, how do we do it differently? And I said, one, we have today the complexity of the portfolio. So we delegate this to the market, right? Two, I have an issue with trust. Brands are not trusting the B2B digital wholesalers because they are basically ruining your pricing strategy. It's kind of like a nuisance, right? It's a nuisance. So I said, why don't I become the Amazon of brands? Why don't I open their digital fronts? I give them the full freedom and control to set up their stores, upload their catalogs, define what markets they want to operate in, link to any fulfillment center they want, and most importantly, to set their pricing the way they want.
Is it something that has already been done?
There are models where this has been done, but not in Morocco.
Okay.
And we talk a bit more about this because we studied really the success stories so far. Again, it's in the journey. What I mean by success stories is those that have managed today to continue to survive, thrive, and fundraise. So we've got Omni Retail in Nigeria, which is a beautiful business by Dipankar. Also, one of the inspiring founders and entrepreneurs I've engaged with recently. We've got a model in Egypt called Fatura. Fatura was acquired, it was sold twice since its inception, once to Hermes, and just recently it was acquired back
Hermes?
Yes, it's like an investment bank in Egypt.
Okay.
Not Hermes.
Yeah, I know, but like
brand.
the same name as
I
as
think
the
it's
luxury brand.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with the owner back then, but that's kind of they moved into the marketplace, but mostly focused on the wholesaler. Right, so they connected the wholesalers with the retailers, and this year it was acquired by Maxab. So we know that this model is at least we know we don't have proof, but we know these are the winners so far, right? In this model. And of course, you probably have models that made it outside of Africa and the Middle East.
Let's go back to something. You worked in consulting in very like well-known companies like BCG, and you did an MBA at Columbia. What did you learn, and how did it help you for entrepreneurship, for becoming I don't know, a better leader, better manager, better entrepreneur today? You also told me an interesting story where you had some lectures with Ray Dalio, so I think it was an interesting MBA. So I really want to understand how it helped you.
How it helped me.
Was it worth it?
Before going to New York, to Columbia, I was at Deloitte, and I was doing strategy and operations consulting, focused primarily on real estate and hospitality. So what consulting gives you as a person is exposure. So I was very fortunate to be had the opportunity to get exposed to really to banks, investment banks, private equity firms, industrials, mostly at the CEO board level, like really highly visible decision makers. And you have it not once, but it's kind of like you have it a lot, almost every day. So it's a highly visible industry to be in, like, and also, of course, it depends on geography because things changed when I was in New York. But at least in Dubai, I had the opportunity to play a very highly visible role. And then I decided to get my MBA. How has that shaped me today? I would say the 2 years I spent at Columbia were the most invaluable 2 years I had of my life. They were the best 2 years of my life. It's so rich being around that kind of community at Columbia. Like, everybody's so smart. They come from different backgrounds. Like my cohort, I met people from all over the world, from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, from South America, from the US, from Canada, from the Middle East. People came from all sorts of industries, everybody in the cohort. They're either like the McKinsey, the BCG, they are people who are coming from investment banking careers, from all the bulge brackets. You've got people coming from family businesses, from different industries. It's just so interesting to be in that kind of environment and to engage with them on a daily basis. What Columbia gave me is a perspective, and I think in the good universities in the US, Columbia has one big advantage. It's its presence in New York City. So you get all the adjunct faculty. These are people who are in the industry. that
Okay.
would
Working in New York.
working in
And
New
coming
York.
for lectures.
Exactly, they would come for a lecture, and when they talk, they're not talking academics, right? It's not theory and books. They're coming with real life cases and problems, and they're giving you like they're giving you a glimpse of the real life that they live every day, and what problems they are solving, and they bring all these insights. So New York, in a way, gave me an international perspective, 360 degrees. I met a lot of interesting people. Like before I went to Colombia, I was fascinated by a guy I heard about called Ray Dalio, who was like the most successful hedge fund founder in the world. And next thing I know, I'm sitting in a classroom, and Ray Dalio is giving a lecture as a guest, lecturer. And it was one of the aha moments I had in my life. I still have the notes written down in one of my notebooks. And he was talking about entrepreneurship. And he said 65% of entrepreneurs are ENTPs on the Myers-Briggs. So that's, and I was like, wow, that's so interesting. A few months later, when I started recruiting, we went through a lot of tests. And one of the tests that some companies ask from you is the Myers-Briggs. And I discovered I'm an ENTP. And I'm like, wow, I am the same personality type as Ray Dalio.
Do you have a lot of things like that where you're talking about something or thinking about something and it happens? Or
Yes. More than you can imagine.
Yeah?
Yes. So Colombia, for example, I knew I was going to Colombia before I even applied. Because one day I was an AUB, and it was my final year in engineering school.
American University of Beirut.
Yes. And everybody was so focused in my class on getting into their master's programs. And people were applying to MIT, to Harvard, to Stanford. And I didn't care about it. But then one guy one day came and said, I got into Colombia. And I was like, wow, he got into Colombia. So it was my first, aha moment that, wow, there's Colombia. Let me look at what is this Colombia, right?
How did you do?
Yeah, and I discovered it's a cool school in New York. And I said, okay, I want to go to Colombia one day.
How did you go from consulting to a more entrepreneurial career?
Yes. So it goes back to this, right? So when I was at Deloitte, I was so inspired looking up to BCG. Like BCG was my dream firm.
Okay.
Right?
Why, by the way?
I don't know. It was just the firm that resonated with who I am. And so I remember days when I would open, I would be sitting, in the office, and I would open the BCG website. And I say, wow, okay, one day I want to work at this firm. And so when I went to Colombia, I got accepted. I went and I recruited really across so many industries, and I got accepted by BCG in their New York office. And I was like, wow. And I didn't realize back then that I was thinking about these things, and they were manifesting a few years down the line. It never occurred to me. I thought it was just a coincidence. But the big aha moment was when I was at BCG and I realized I don't want to continue a career in consulting, and my DNA is screaming entrepreneurship. I said, okay, let me see if I can get some professional help, because Colombia had a career support program. They connect you with career coaches. So I booked time with a career coach, and we used to meet in New York at the Harvard Club in Manhattan once a week. So I would walk from the BCG office, go down to Manhattan to Harvard Club, and I would meet with him for 1 hour.
Every week?
Every week.
Okay.
And we did this for, 4, 5, 6 weeks. I don't remember. But I remember on the last day, we had the final, ultimate design of what my next step is. from BCG. And it's so surprising. It was on an A4 piece of paper. It's a European tech startup that is VC funded, and that they are looking for somebody senior to come in at like a kind of like a co-founder VP level to manage their Middle East operations. So a few days later, I don't know if it's 2 days, 3 days later, I wake up one day in New York, and because of time difference, I was sleeping in Berlin, they were working, and I found 16 missed calls on my phone. So I called the number, and it was a company in Germany. Mm-hmm. And a lady called Rosie had been trying to reach me because they saw my profile on the Columbia career page. And they said, we're looking for somebody to come and run the Middle East operations.
Wow.
We're a German startup. We just raised $50 million. And I want to connect you with our CEO. Are you open for that conversation? I said, sure. When does he want to talk? She gave me like a time with him 3 or 4 days later. I used these 3 or 4 days to build extensive market knowledge on the industry in the Middle East.
That's the consulting skill.
Yes.
In 3 days, you...
Yes, I mastered
the
the
market.
whole industry from like a market, knowledge, familiarity, and industry familiarity on what they're doing. And I went and I had that meeting with Philip Magan, who was the founder and CEO, and it was so surprising. Like it was so natural. It wasn't an interview. It was like, okay, you got the job. Now, what is your strategy? And he asked me.
No time to lose.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. He said, who are the first people you're gonna hire? And being so naive, because I was in consulting, I just did my MBA, I was 31 years old, and I told him, I will hire the finance guys, we'll hire somebody for marketing, we'll hire somebody for HR. And Philip started laughing, and he said, Sam, we're a startup. The first 5 people you need to hire are your salespeople. And I said, wow, you're absolutely right. I'm going to hire, the first hires are going to be salespeople. And actually, when I started the job, I assembled a very high-performing team of salespeople. And I took them all from the best universities in Lebanon to assemble a high-performance sales team.
What did you learn about hiring in your whole career? We talked about it even for Morocco. And you told me before the podcast that there are some great talents, of course, in Morocco, but also outside of Morocco.
Yes.
And as a CEO, hiring is always maybe one of the most important things with fundraising and selling, let's say. What did you learn about hiring?
I believe that hiring is the most important role a CEO should be playing in his company.
That's one of the things that really surprised me when I started the podcast. I remember one of the founders, he told me that, so he was like maybe Series A, he raised a few millions doing deep tech. And he told me that in the 6 months, or I don't remember exactly the timing, because maybe he's listening, maybe in the past 6 months or something, he told me 70% of his time was on hiring.
Yes.
And it was shocking for me, like 70%, it's like all the time you have.
70%.
Why is it so important?
Because finding talent is not easy.
Yeah.
So what do I mean by finding talent is not easy? You can go today to the market. You'll find many people who have degrees, right? But there are things that you need to evaluate in people. You need to look at attitude. You need to look at their drive. You need to look at the fit, right? Because recruiting people is such an intensive task. You want to make sure you do it right. You don't want to hire the wrong people. And in my career, I've made this mistake a lot. Everybody makes this mistake where you make wrong recruits.
Okay.
Because you never know until it's, in hindsight that it was a wrong recruit.
So you shouldn't be quick in hiring, right? Even if you're executing quickly, hiring should be slow?
Exactly. One candidate is somebody I would typically get to know over 2 months.
Okay, 2 months.
Yes.
So in an interview setting, but also in a personal, informal setting.
We keep it casual.
Let's go, let's have a coffee, let's have a tea.
Exactly. You want to get to know everything you can about this hire. Specifically for senior roles. I'm not talking about more junior roles. Now I have a different strategy with junior roles.
Okay.
I tell them, you want to work for me? I don't have time to interview you, but I'm happy to give you an internship. I'll pay you to come and work for me for 2 months and consider this is your interview.
Interesting. Someone told me about this, YC companies in San Francisco. There are some companies that usually pay people for 1 week for working at the company, and then they give them
Amazing.
or not.
It's the best interview opportunity or approach you can have today, because you get to test them really on the job.
Yeah, but you have to have a liquid market or with people that can jump with you, then jump to another company, or junior roles that can try.
Yes.
Yeah.
So specifically, this model works in Morocco for fresh graduates.
Okay.
So they don't have an opportunity cost. They have nothing to lose by joining you as an intern. I would not do this with somebody who already has a job and I'm approaching. No, you cannot go and tell them, leave your job. If you're working in...
so that's the 2 months route.
Yeah, it's impossible. I would never do it if I was in his place or her place.
Yeah.
But with an intern, somebody who's on the job market, he or she just graduated, and they're hunting for opportunities. I advise them to take it, because specifically knowing how challenging today is to make that first entry into
to be in a good company, good
exactly,
team.
Exactly. And I believe it's a good model. Why? Even if you don't take those candidates in full time, you would have added value to them that they would have now an internship experience on their resume. So it would help them with, what other opportunities that they might see.
And during these, let's say, so for most senior roles, you're spending a lot of time with people, maybe informally. What are you looking for when you're hiring? Or is it the other way? Are you looking for things that if you see them, you don't hire them? What are you looking for?
It's both.
Okay.
It's both. Me personally, I try to see through the people. I need to make sure 100% that I'm hiring good people at heart.
Okay.
So integrity is extremely important. I value integrity over any other trait or dimension in a candidate. I have a policy of zero tolerance for lying. Even if it's a small lie. Like I tell my team, never lie. Make mistakes. Be courageous to come up and tell me we made these mistakes. It's okay. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes. The key is, are we learning from this mistake? Never make the same mistake twice, because then you're going to tell me that we have a problem, right? But don't lie to me.
Okay.
For me, lying is one of the biggest red flags. Like if I catch somebody lying once, they're out of my...
And I think it's something that you can see, because when you're talking with someone informally, you can see if maybe they criticize someone, maybe they say something, but it's not really true.
It's so interesting that... so
for integrity.
Through experience, I learned that there is a magic time frame for you to get to know people you recruit. you start knowing them, really knowing them after 1 year.
After 1 year?
Yes.
Okay, it's a lot.
Yes. Because in the beginning...
You have to have some challenging times.
Yes.
To know them.
And exactly after 1 year, you start to get to know who they really are. نحكي بالمعدن.
Yeah.
It's 1 year. The magic number is 1 year. So that's why I always tell people, don't judge. Because sometimes I've seen the two sides of the story where initially you're with, you have somebody and you're not happy with them. And I say, give them time.
Yeah, totally agree.
Give them time. It's very tough starting a new job in a new company. It is very tough. There's a lot of adjustments. You need to exercise a lot of mental power.
Yeah, to be agile.
To be agile, to get accepted socially in a new community, to learn who's who and how things work, to get to know the systems, both technology and like the systems, non-technical systems, like how things work in this company. It takes time.
The information that maybe is not stored, it's in the conversation. The new way to do things.
Exactly. 100%. To earn trust of your colleagues. Because the tendency when somebody new comes in is you need to build a rapport with them over time to start collaborating openly. Trust is something that is really earned over time.
Okay.
Right? So talking about that, even on the flip side, I was saying some people who were very impressive in the beginning, you tend to see that after 1 year, it's like something happens to them. Like they show up their true self, and you discover like they're either lazy, they're not committed, they don't have the drive. You feel that it was kind of like a show they put in the first place to make sure they get the job and they stay in the job.
So maybe you're trying to look for people that have like internal drive or something like that?
Yes, it's an internal drive. I don't go after mercenaries. We go after missionaries. So you
not mercenaries?
Missionaries.
Missionaries, okay.
Yes.
I like the quote.
Yes. So in sometimes with young people, fresh graduates especially, I would ask them a question in the interview, and I would see what their response is. Mm-hmm. I would ask them, "Would you be willing to pay me to work for me?"
To work for me?
Yes.
Okay.
And I evaluate the response. The very smart ones will tell me I would definitely pay if I had the money. Of course, it would never happen, but it's a thought experiment. Because what are they paying for? They're paying for first an opportunity and the learning curve that they will be getting, right? Because you don't get that steepness of the learning curve everywhere.
There's this story of I think it's Warren Buffett, but I'm not sure. He's going to someone, I forgot his name. Maybe the names are not, maybe it's not Warren Buffett, I don't know. But like, it's a famous investor going to another famous investor. So Warren Buffett, I think he's the younger one. So he was young at that time. He goes to this older, but very well-known, the best investor in the place. And he tells him like, I want to come and work for you and don't pay me. And the guy tells him something like, nothing is too expensive. So like, you have to pay me so I can teach you what I know.
Yes, it's the apprenticeship model. And this is what I'm talking about. Today, you can go and work in a job. What are you looking for? Are you looking for stability, a title, benefits, and some money in the bank at the end of the month? Or are you really looking at developing as a human, right? Developing your skills, getting exposed, learning, advancing. It's a matter of choice, really. And some people just choose the easy route. Like now I have a batch of interns that we recruited. And I told them, you have a choice. You want to come in at 9, leave at 5 or 6. by all means. But 5 years down the line, you're still going to be coming in at 9, leaving at 5, and you're still going to be earning $600, $700, $800. You're not going to go anywhere in life. And the golden moments for people to develop really is in the 20s, because you're still young, you have the energy, you have the mental bandwidth to learn, and your body can still function at high stamina and high endurance, where you can pull the long hours, really like invest time in working.
Exactly.
Right? As you grow older, it becomes more difficult because you will have much more responsibilities as a person.
Yeah. In terms of time, your sacrifice is really bigger.
Exactly. And
it's
then,
like family time or something.
Exactly. And then your body and your mind would not cope like they used to cope when you were in your 20s. So you become high value focused. So you need to have accumulated a wealth of knowledge and wisdom and experience throughout your 20s and 30s, so that when you're in your 40s and beyond, you bring in really things that are not about spending time and effort. They're more about strategic wisdom, knowing how things would unfold if I make this decision.
And being more efficient.
Exactly.
Je fais une petite pause dans cet épisode pour te parler de mes amis et partenaires Taptap Send que j'utilise personnellement et qui soutient NEXTWAVE depuis le début. Si tu habites en dehors du Maroc, tu dois absolument connaître Taptap Send. J'ai personnellement vécu 10 ans en France et comme tous les Marocains qui habitent à l'étranger, j'ai voulu envoyer de l'argent vers le Maroc. Certains veulent soutenir des proches, certains veulent épargner au Maroc ou investir leur argent, mais dans tous les cas, dans ces moments-là, on recherche 3 choses: rapidité, simplicité et le moins de frais possible. C'est ce que propose Taptap Send. Il permet d'envoyer de l'argent vers le Maroc depuis une trentaine de pays dans le monde, et ce qui m'a convaincu, c'est que les transferts bancaires sont gratuits. En gros, leur modèle, c'est une petite marge sur le taux de change et ils sont transparents et compétitifs. Ils proposent un des meilleurs taux du marché. Donc si vous voulez envoyer de l'argent vers le Maroc, ne réfléchissez pas et téléchargez l'application Taptap Send. Vous pourrez transférer votre argent vers des comptes bancaires, mais aussi vers Cash Plus ou AfaCash. Si vous venez de notre part, vous recevrez un cadeau lors de votre inscription. Par exemple, 15 € depuis la France ou 25 $ depuis les États-Unis. Donc téléchargez l'application Taptap Send et utilisez le code NEXTWAVE. Je vous remets en description toutes les infos. Vous êtes déjà des centaines à avoir utilisé l'application et certains m'ont remercié pour la recommandation. Et j'aimerais à mon tour remercier l'équipe Taptap Send de me soutenir depuis le début de NEXTWAVE. Et sur ce, on peut reprendre l'épisode.
What's your internal drive? What are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
My internal drive?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question. So, deep inside, I have a drive. I want to create impact. Right. Me, I personally, I've had abundance all my life. Although I come from a modest background, my abundance came naturally to me it was a gift I have from God. So it was never financial or monetary. That drive is not something important for me. Like, I know I can have whatever I want. But building something that would create impact, that would touch the lives of thousands of people, maybe millions of people, that would step change an entire industry and an entire economy, is something that really inspires me. I am inspired by people like Jeff Bezos. There is also another inspiring story, like many inspiring stories, by the way, from the Middle East. I don't know why we always go to the US. Ronaldo Mshawar, founder of Souq.com, was acquired by Amazon. Again, he built the whole thing when nobody was even talking about it back then. We've got really inspiring stories in Saudi Arabia. I met the founder and CEO of Gathering, which was kind of like a competitor to the company I started, but it was not a competitor because they were going in the direction of being a platform. We were doing something. We became an OpCo company. But she was so inspiring. A Saudi female who was in the US, got an inspiration to build the Booking.com or Airbnb of Saudi Arabia. And she came back and she built a very basic platform. And she started getting Saudi property owners to list on her platform. And fast forward 5, 6, 7 years later, today she's bigger than Booking.com in Saudi, bigger than Airbnb.
Yeah. What's the name of the company?
Gathering.
Yeah.
Founded by Latifat Tamimi. Very inspiring story.
So you're inspired by stories that really have an impact on a place, on a country, on a geography.
Yes. You change an industry. You change how things are done. And you build something so big and impactful that you cannot ignore that it exists. I'll give you an example. Today, not a single hotel property anywhere in the world can survive if it's not on Booking.com.
Yeah.
And they pay 15 to 25% commission on rental revenue. Despite that, it's the necessary evil. Now that's really, if you come to think about it.
And they are paying a big price because they don't have the direct relationship with the customers, and they had it. They had it before.
Exactly.
But they have to.
Exactly. So I mean, these are stories. But again, it's not a financial or business drive per se. It's more like I want to see that my time has been invested in the right places to impact the lives of people, specifically in markets like Morocco and other African markets. I'm not very familiar with other African markets, but except from what I see online, but I know Morocco very well.
Yeah.
And if there's room for me to really create impact and change the lives of tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people, that would be a drive that would get me up every day.
You said that you really seem to have like an abundance mindset, and you said that you always felt that you have abundance and that you can like have anything. Where does it come from? Is it like some Mediterranean mindset coming from the childhood and the family, or
no? Everybody, a lot of people across the globe have that. The source, it only comes from one place. It's a gift. You get it. It's a gift. In our cultures, we have different terms. We say baraka. In the US, they say abundance. People don't understand how it works. I've tried to analyze it many times.
How does it work?
Nobody knows. The real truth is nobody knows.
Is it something that you give to the world and that comes back?
There are certain rules, but they don't always work, right? So one of the concepts is you channel. So you're like a channel. You don't hoard. You don't need to hoard wealth and material. Whatever comes in has to go back out. And not like go back out on Bentleys and iPhones and expensive travel. No, to go back out to help other people. Salaries, support, in Arabic, it's the term, we have a lot of terms that we don't really contemplate deeply on. For example, al-muhsinin, al-muslihin. These are terms that we use very heavily in our religious scripture, but we don't double click on what they mean. And when they tell you, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبَّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, or إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبَّ, these are the rules, like the rules. You want to be favored by God. You want to be given these gifts. You need to apply these rules. So al-muslihin for me is somebody who comes and looks at something that is broken and fixes it. This is very simple, right? It can be something as small as you buy an old abandoned house and you renovate it and you make it beautiful and you plant, you do some beautiful plantations and lighting on the exterior that you make the road look really nice to you, not just for you, but also for the neighbors and the people passing by. That's the concept, right? Al-Muhsinin is a concept of where you are just naturally being good to people, right? So if somebody إذا حدا أساء إليك, how do you respond, right? For example, these are things. If somebody comes to you asking for help, what do? Right? For me, in my mindset, for example, I don't like when somebody comes to ask me for help in the sense like I need money. For me, I think about, okay, if it's a one-off, you need, like, we all sometimes have shortcomings and we have hardships. Sometimes you need you need a push, right? It's this. I'm not talking about this case, but I'm talking where there's a pattern. Right? Somebody who's always coming for financial support. In my mind, the way I help this person is I provide economic opportunity for them. I need to reformat their mind to make them believe in themselves that you are able today to get up every day in the morning, do something that would earn you a decent living. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It just needs to be enough for you to have a decent living. This is the important thing. And once you have that as a base, you start thinking about growth and next steps.
Is it also maybe in some cases cultural? Do you think that you're from Lebanon? Do you think that there's a higher concentration of people feeling that way in terms of abundance?
I don't necessarily think so. I think with Lebanese people specifically, it's very situational and it's driven by the context. So I was born in 1981 in a war. So there was a civil war. It was really hard on my parents. In 1982, my parents fled to Abu Dhabi, where my father started his career in oil and gas. And I grew up in a very safe environment, very safe, beautiful environment. We had like a club. We used to go meet every day, weekends, play tennis, swimming, do swimming, play basketball. We were kids, all from the same standard. Our parents worked in the same company, right? So very controlled. But what I'm trying to say here is why you will hear a lot of success stories, for example, about Lebanese people. It's because the context of Lebanon is really a main driver for people to seek opportunities outside. And because we don't have the necessary social support systems, we are the social support system. So if you don't make it, you're done.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have a backup plan. And that's why you'd see a lot of people in Africa, for example, who are really successful. You go and dig and you'll find that they're Lebanese. And I'm talking about billionaires, people who control markets, very interesting success stories in business in Africa, Lebanese people. And it's not just because we're very smart. Intuitively, we are. We are an extension of the Phoenicians, the civilization, which very interestingly I discovered when I came to Morocco. The Amazigh alphabet is very close to the Phoenician alphabet.
I didn't know.
I didn't know this
Very
until
interesting.
it's not something that
Very
is
interesting.
What I know in the North African coast is in Tunisia, there is Carthage.
Yeah.
And we know that it's Phoenician, and there's this direct relationship between Carthage and Lebanon. But I never knew that the Phoenicians actually had some influence over Morocco, by the way.
Okay.
It's
Very
so
interesting.
interesting. Yeah,
Very
you can
interesting.
Google it,
Very
and you'll
interesting.
discover that this civilization, there's a lot of in common. That's why in Morocco, I don't feel I'm in a foreign country. I feel I'm in Lebanon, but a bigger Lebanon where people just speak Darija, and you have electricity 24/7, and you have security and stability, and alhamdulillah, you have a king. Because one of the things we miss in Lebanon is this figure of authority that everybody respects.
And to unite everyone.
That unites. So for me, Morocco is like the perfect version of Lebanon.
Okay.
But this concept of abundance is not something pertaining to
Lebanon,
per
yeah.
se. It's a global. People feel it sometimes if they have it. And people who don't have it, they don't know what they're missing.
Yeah. You went from the US to Canada, you worked in Europe, between Europe and the Middle East, and you also worked in Saudi, in a very interesting hospitality company.
Yes.
How did you see evolve the Saudian economy in general, also in this specific case of hospitality? Can you explain a little bit this experience?
All right. So I'll give you more the background and how I ended up in Saudi. So it was COVID, and I was sitting in my basement on my computer doing some, I don't recall what, some work and consulting that I was doing, and it was lockdown in Canada. So we had everybody was closed. People were working from home. And even going out to supermarkets, we had a curfew. Like by 8 p.m., you're not allowed to be outside. It was a very weird period. And one day, a very old friend of mine that I knew from 2005, 2006 actually, he calls me up and he says, Sam, you know what? How are you? I said, I'm good. He said, you know, all my family businesses have shut down in COVID.
Due to COVID, okay.
Yeah, due to COVID. Because they were operating like restaurants and I don't know, some other businesses that needed people to actually, be available to make, to buy. But the business I launched is booming. Can you have a look at it? So I said, sure. So what is your business? Apparently, he had stumbled upon an interesting model by a Swiss company called Guest Ready. And they had fundraised, and he had joined the cap table through Venture Souq. So he was receiving reports on a quarterly basis. And he said, I want to get this company to come to Saudi.
So that's a company where? In what country?
In Switzerland. It's called Guest Ready.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember we had a couple of discussions with the chairman, and back then I don't think they were excited on Saudi. I understand why, because at that time Saudi was still not opened up as it is today. It was just at the start of the picking up and that momentum that we see today. So he said, why don't I do it myself? So the guy went and actually launched the company. His family had a compound in Jeddah. So he started with that compound. He started with one villa, put it on booking.com, Airbnb. It got overbooked. So he took the next villa, third villa. Next thing you know, we were running the full compound on our platform.
Okay. You went from this platform to your own platform.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had our own platform, and we were still doing it was a B2B to C model. So we relied still on booking.com and Airbnb. Yeah. So then I told him, okay, this is really cool. So you're sitting on a lot of cash. It seems that this business is booming. I know for a fact that there was a recession just a couple of years prior in Saudi, and a lot of because of opening up the cultural openness that was happening, there was no longer the need for expats to live in closed and gated communities in compounds, which were very expensive back then. So expats started to live anywhere in Riyadh and Jeddah. So what had happened is you had a lot of compounds that became abandoned. Like the owners didn't know what to do with them. So we went to them and said, okay, guys, you give me the compound, I will operate it for you, and I will give you 70% of the income, the rental income.
Great.
Great, beautiful model. There's no way they would say no to that, right? It's you're getting some money as opposed to nothing.
Yeah, and you're only paying 30%. I would say yes.
And it's a management contract. So if you don't like me, you terminate me.
Okay.
Simple as that, right? So what happened in 2020, July 2020, I started working with Talal. He extended to me the co-founder privilege, I would call it, in November. He kept pushing me to come to Saudi. I was very hesitant. I didn't know if it was the right time. It was COVID. I was in Canada, moving to Saudi. He kept pushing me until finally I said, okay, I'm going to go apply. I still had my Lebanese passport, so I had to apply for a visa. So I applied for a visa. I got a 1-year visa stamped on my passport, and I packed my bags and I flew to Jeddah. Fast forward 6 months, we fundraised $2.4 million from 2 Saudi VCs, led by Diraya Ventures and Sidra Ventures, and 10 angel investors. So we were in the middle of something that seemed to be really big, right? Because why? Saudi was opening up tourism. There was a big push on tourism, just like in Morocco today. And we saw the opportunity.
We'll be back to the episode in just a few seconds, but before, I wanted to tell you about our latest list of Moroccan startups to watch. We've gathered dozens of startups from all sectors. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking for ideas or just curious to see which startups are trending right now, this is for you. The list is available on startuplist.nextwave.ma. You'll find the link to the list in the podcast description below. Go ahead and tell us what startups we should add. How did you see the tech, the business ecosystem in Saudi and in this part of the world?
It's extremely inspiring.
Yeah?
I was fascinated by Saudi Arabia. And I came to really appreciate the importance of leadership and change. Really. I listened to the interview of Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince. It was in Ramadan of 2021 when I first arrived in Saudi. He was speaking like a CEO.
There's this book about I think they say the ruler of Dubai.
Yes.
And the name of the book is the Sheikh CEO. The Sheikh CEO.
And I understood then the importance of leadership, and leadership in driving a vision, inspiring people, but also in leadership being on top of their game. He came in with numbers. He spoke like an executive running a company.
It was precise.
It was very precise. I was very inspired by this gentleman. Really inspiring. Really inspiring. I remember I took his picture and I put it on my WhatsApp as my profile photo after that interview. It really inspired me. And he was really young, you know. He was running a company, not a company, a country like Saudi Arabia with so many challenges. I used to go to Saudi in the early 2000s before I went to New York.
Changed a lot.
And I remember if I would spend 1 month in Saudi and I would come back depressed to Dubai. And with all due respect, it was a natural reaction. There was something not very natural about being in a male,
I think if you
100% male society. There was like you don't see females anywhere. And fast forward,
if you take the 80s to today, the change is insane.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You know, today, if you go to Saudi, Muhammad, you will see women in every facet of the society. Naturally. And I discovered something that had happened that was a driver for the success of Saudi. I think it was King Abdullah he opened the faucet on education, and he sent millions of Saudis over 20 years to study in the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, fully funded by the government. Very relaxed. You'll go, you don't speak English, no issues. I'll put you in English school. 1 year, 2 years, no problem. You want to do your bachelor's?
And then you go.
Do your bachelor's. You want to stay and do your master's? Do your master's. You want to stay and do your PhD? Do your PhD. I used to meet Saudi folks in New York, and I was like, what are you guys doing here? Like,
Yeah,
and it's like,
something's
yeah,
happening there. So,
الابتعاث. And I believe that was the really the cornerstone or the foundation that enabled the change that happened today in Saudi. Because you had a generation that was all educated, very well educated. And you will be surprised because women had no role to play actively in like the professional scene. You know what they were doing to stay busy? They were investing in education. You'll find today more women in Saudi who have master's degrees and PhDs than the males. It's surprising. So the country today opened up. There's really very sensible and wise leadership. They're blessed also because they're rich as a country, so they have oil. So, but they're very organized. So there is a sector that popped up out of nowhere over the last 5 to 10 years, and it's startups.
okay.
Right? And there was a big drive on supporting startups. And the startups scene created a lot of entrepreneurs, right? And a lot of economic opportunity for Saudis.
What did you see there in terms of startups, tech scene, entrepreneurial scene, that can inspire or that can be interesting on a Moroccan perspective when you see today the tech scene or entrepreneur scene in Morocco?
I think a lot about this a lot, by the way, because I genuinely care and I genuinely want to see Morocco advance, because I truly believe we have today the opportunity, a golden opportunity, to really be the leaders in Africa. We don't need to be the leaders in the world. Like, why are you going to want to compete with? No, like, focus on the opportunity you have. Your region. One thing I noticed, a big difference that helped Saudi accelerate, that today I just don't know how Morocco is going to overcome this. There's a lot of red tape here.
Red tape, yes. So admin stuff.
Unbelievable. You know,
Paper stuff.
I spent maybe 30% of my time as a CEO during the fundraising part and the aftermath of the fundraising part.
So the paper.
To go drive my car, go to every single signatory on our cap table, get them to sign, ask them when they are available, if they're in their office or they're at home, and if they're at home, is it their home in Darba Azza or in Casablanca? And then you have to go and get all of these signatures legalized. بالمقاطعة. If you can imagine the nightmare to get, like, I don't know, we would have on average 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 signatories.
Every one of them
yes.
legalized.
So to get a paper done, we're talking now 1 month.
Yeah, I think it's like maybe a week of effective work. Just going to the different places.
Low value.
It's 8 places plus 8 legalizations.
Low value work. Low value. Absolutely unnecessary. And I wonder why nobody's doing anything about it. In Saudi, everything is digitalized. You have an e-government. You don't talk to government anymore. You have an app. Everything you want to do, you do it through an app. You do it instantly. You can get married instantly. You can get divorced instantly. You can sell your house, you can buy a house
Fundraise.
instantly, you can get an attestation, you can get a police report, you can do an tawkil for somebody. Everything you can imagine that requires you to interact with a government agency, you do it through an app. Now, when it comes to startups, one of the key ingredients to have a successful startup ecosystem is speed. I don't have the runway for to stay 1 year waiting for my funds to be. I had
It
my
happened?
fund. Yes,
12 months to have
12
the
months.
funds?
12 months. I got my first LOI, me and Meriem, in March or April 2024. I was able to use the money in 28th or 27th of March 2025.
Yeah, so
Just
year.
1 day before the Eid.
1 year.
One year.
Yeah.
So imagine you're a startup and your lifeline, your oxygen is how much cash you have in the bank. And nobody seems to care. You have like, I don't know, all this red tape. Like you have to go through the competition office. Okay, with all due respect.
To do what when you fundraise?
I don't understand why do you have to? You're a startup. I mean, what's the rationale behind going through?
But in one case you have to do. In what case you have to do it? For example, for Z.
To get, because we had one of our investors is it was like a regulation.
Okay.
That specific investor.
So then you have to go.
So, but why is it something that needs to take 6 weeks or 7 weeks or? No, I think even more. We started the process in October, and by the time we get the approval, I think it was, already 2025. And then you get the approval, and then guess what happens? Money is wired to your account. Yay, but you can't use it.
Why?
Because now you need to get your Model J. So there is a process. And you need to do A, B, C, D that I really don't understand. And it's a process that takes time.
Yeah.
So you have money sitting in your escrow account, blocked by your bank that you cannot use because you're waiting for a Model J piece of paper.
So like if you were going to die without fundraising,
nobody cares.
Nobody cares. You died in the process, right?
You died in the process. It's like, it's a two-speed world we're living in Morocco. There's a drive. I know for a fact that top leadership here are very serious about developing the ecosystem. I know it. You know why? They've dedicated $200 million now. Every fund, not every fund, but like funds can apply today and they'll get matched with, I think, 40% or 50% from the sovereign, the new like fund. That's it. Exactly. But this is not enough. Like money is not the issue.
You have to have speed then.
Money is not the issue. It's everything that comes between. Right? That is the issue. In Saudi, I signed my SHA. I was in Montreal. Digital DocuSign.
What's the SHA?
Shareholder agreement.
Okay.
On DocuSign. Yeah, it was like ting. You click one button, you sign it. Yeah. Money comes in. It comes into your account. You use it immediately. Like what? Why do I need to wait? Why do I need to wait for 6 weeks to get my money in my bank account to use it? These are things that need to be addressed seriously. And what I'm feeling, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I don't see anybody talking about these issues.
Yeah.
An expat founder in Morocco. I go to get my residency, and the gentleman tell me, "Oh, these documents are too complicated for us to understand."
What does it mean?
I don't know what it means. It means the guy doesn't want to bother, to like go through my formation documents in Delaware and to understand how this company is formulated. It's like it's too much. So I started to think, okay, so if expat founders here will come, raise money, set up companies, and there's a drive to propel the ecosystem, but then you have red tape and you have outdated, processes. How will that work? Like it's not catching up. So in Saudi, you say I'm a startup founder. It's like
Everything opens.
Everything opens. It's like you have so much respect, so much support. Everybody is just supporting you. Amazing. The drive, the support, the ecosystem is just so vibrant. It's really, really inspiring. Like I encourage, by the way, Moroccan VCs and decision makers in the space really to bridge, create ties with the ecosystem in Saudi. There's a lot they can learn
to understand
from.
the ecosystem. How did you go from Saudi to Morocco? What's the story there? How did you happen to come to Morocco and live here and build Z.Systems here?
So as you know, this might be held against me in the future, but I'm trying to change this particular aspect about my ENTP personality type. So we usually get bored after a few years. Right now in Z, I have never even thought about getting bored, and I think it's about high time that I don't. But you start looking around for, okay, I need mental stimulation.
Yeah.
And I came across an opportunity with Mr. Soufiane Bada, who was looking for a consultant to give him support with, developing his vision for the future. So he flew me in. I met with him, and we aligned that I would see him on the ground 5 days a month. And we said, okay, we'll do it for 6 months, and then we evaluate whether we want to continue working together or no. And he said, okay. I said, okay. And I started coming to Morocco. That's how I got exposed to FMCG. And let me tell you how I started, like how Morocco came into my consciousness. I usually would go to Montreal from Saudi. I would usually go through like Europe, through London or Paris or Qatar. That one particular time, I said to myself, let me try something different. So, what interesting, and it was World Cup.
Yeah, okay.
So it was like Morocco was really in the spotlight. So I said, I want to go, I want to see what is this? What is this Morocco, right? So I said, okay, I'll take Royal Air Morocco and I will do a layover in Casa. Yeah. And I arrived in Casa and it was like, wow, beautiful. Like it's undiscovered territory for me, hidden gem, beautiful weather. I felt like I'm in a cleaner, bigger, better, more organized version of Beirut, right? You have the sea, so it's like the scenes that I'm used to in like seeing in Beirut, and the people were like interesting, right? It's very much like homey to me, right? Although I had a big language barrier, like Darija. The problem with Darija is, as an Arab, all Moroccans understand all Arabic dialects.
Yeah.
But all Arabic dialects, people from all other Arabic countries don't understand.
Moroccan.
So it took a lot of mental effort today to start understanding Darija.
Did it surprise you, this the fact that we speak Darija, French, English? Did you know that even now in the business setting?
I never knew. I had some Moroccan friends, but in the setting in Dubai and Abu Dhabi,
they would speak
English most of the time. Yeah. And when they talked Arabic, they would not talk in Darija because nobody would understand them. So they had to talk with more local accents.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, it was very surprising, but I discovered so many interesting things about Darija. They use a lot of original Arabic words that we no longer use in our dictionary. Yeah? For example, like Bizzarba.
It comes from Arabic?
Yes, it means Bisra. It's an Arabic word, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many more examples like this. That it's a dictionary or a vocabulary that we no longer use, but it's rooted in the original Arabic language, which is so interesting. So interesting.
Do you speak Darija now? You understand?
I understand. I don't tell people this. I don't speak in Darija on purpose.
Yeah.
But I claim to not understand. But I have a good grasp of Darija. The only thing I still struggle with is in Lebanon, when you meet somebody and you want to tell them thank you or great job, you say يعطيك العافية. I still, every time somebody helps me, like whether it's the guy on the security guy for the parking or anybody, the waiter, I want to say that the natural thing is to say يعطيك العافية, and then I have to remember no يعطيك الصحة. never say العافية. So this was one of the big interesting challenges that I have in language in Morocco.
Okay. Since you launched Z and really getting to know the business ecosystem, are there other things that surprised you?
In Morocco?
Yeah.
Yes. Once you spend 2 years in any society, you start to see things.
Yeah.
And I don't talk out of criticism. It's just things I observe. So it's things I observed in working with Germans, or things I observed when I was in London, in Canada. Canada is different because you don't have. It's not like a homogeneous fabric. Like Morocco is a homogeneous fabric, right? Germany mostly, now it changed, but 10 years ago, you're dealing with Germans. London is, again, you don't have a fabric, but you have a very strong, city persona.
City personality, yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe it's different from the rest of England, but...
Exactly. In the US, even you have this, like, between New York and other, cities, you'll find big differences. But you notice, like, every time you spend enough time in a city, in a country, you start to see things.
Yeah.
Right? One of the things I've noticed in Morocco, and I say this really lightheartedly, not with criticism. It's like people tend to think they can do everything themselves. Right? You sit with big groups here and big decision makers who are supposed to be really supportive of the ecosystem. You will go present your ideas to them, intellectual property. You will tell them how you're doing things and what you're doing, and they will meet you a couple of times, 3 times, they will engage with you, and then after, suddenly, they stop responding to your WhatsApp. And you meet them coincidentally somewhere, and they say, oh, we decided to do it ourselves. Okay, so, and I saw this pattern repeating not once, but every time. There's a work ethic that I see is missing in corporates here. Right? So one, really intellectual property is very valuable. One of the things that built economies in the world is the protection of property.
Yeah, completely.
And
both property, physical property and intellectual property.
Even if, by law today...
because you can take risk if you have property.
Exactly.
You can invest.
Exactly. Even today, if you're not protected by law, there has to be some consensus, like a gentleman understanding, right? That what is right and what is wrong, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a small community. Right? We all know each other.
Completely.
So I know, like, what is going on. Like, I know, these ideas were presented to this group. Next thing you know, they're doing it themselves. One big group, actually, this is a famous story, and I want to put it out there so everybody knows. They opened up to Meriem Benabad when she was on Awal, and they engaged with her for many months. They understood everything about what she was building. And then all of a sudden they disappear. Next thing you know, fast forward 1.5 years, they copy-pasted the technology and the app, and they launched DIY. It's so petty for me that people actually do this, right? When you're like a multi-billion-dollar company, you should be really في رقي بالتعامل. We know you can do it, right? But I mean, you need to do it elegantly.
Yeah.
Right? So these are the things like
and maybe
this.
you can do it with the entrepreneur, with the startups, and everyone can
support your rising
can earn.
entrepreneurs. You are responsible. It's not about you growing your top line. It's also about elevating the people in the ecosystem. You need to create more leaders in the ecosystem, in the economy, right? Because how are jobs created?
Exactly.
Right? How is economic opportunity created? You need more success stories. You need more leaders. You need
how to create
more
value.
companies, and you need to support them, not destroy them. And this is one of the things really in Morocco. I kind of like I say to myself, you need to be very careful how you approach business.
Very interesting. Very interesting. What's the next steps for that system? Where are you going?
If I tell you the vision and where we're going, it would need another couple of podcasts. But let me tell you, we are addressing today some real serious problems in the traditional retail space. We know very well what these problems are with data, because we're very close to Moul Hanout, and we are very close to the brands, and we are very close to the wholesalers. So over the next couple of years, our agenda really is to continue to grow our core and strengthening our core. We have some plans to really introduce some very interesting products to the Moroccan market that would support the consumer.
So maybe bringing brands that are not here?
I don't think that is a necessity.
Okay.
Like, what value will you do in bringing brands that are not here?
So creating products?
No, it's not about creating products. It's about creating, when I say products, I'm not generally talking about FMCG products. I'm thinking about like tech products or solutions. One of the things we've noticed, for example, is in Morocco, you have 3.8 million social aid beneficiaries. Right? And these really, really like, it's a struggle to get your payment as a social aid beneficiary. So we had an idea, and I can talk openly about it because we published it on our LinkedIn page, and it's kind of like out there. So we created Catalogue Solidaire. We went to brands and said, guys, we want to support the social aid beneficiary community. And we're introducing today a special like rewards program for these people. So we created Catalogue Solidaire in jointly with the brands, where any social aid beneficiary today can get a قسيمة شراء إلكترونية from any Cash Plus outlet that is participating in this program. They would top it up, and then they can go and purchase with the card.
You can take it at Cash Plus?
Yes.
Okay.
And they can go to any participating Hanout and purchase any product from the Catalogue Solidaire, and they'll get an additional 10% cashback on their wallet. So it's جبنا لكم دعم.
Is it a Cash Plus wallet or?
It's a cash plus wallet
Okay.
that is linked to internally to like a virtual wallet in Z.
In Z.
But it's more قسيمة شراء. So still there are issues here
Interesting.
around
Yeah.
compliance and so
Okay. So maybe there's a play in the fintech space?
we are already there.
Okay.
We cannot disclose what we are doing specifically on the fintech side, but I assure you next year we're going to have another podcast.
And you'll come back.
Where we're going to be presenting something really big and unique and a game changer in this space in Morocco. And we are going to be the first company to crack the digital payments problem with the Hanout. Can I add something here?
Of course.
Just, it's very interesting when I observe everybody in the space. And when I say everybody, I'm talking about big institutions. They're talking about digital payments in Hanouts. And I wonder, like, do these people even know what they're talking about? And we meet with them and we discover they have no idea what they are talking about. They think like this $25 billion market will be digitalized because the government obliged Moul Hanout to put a TPO machine in his store. Okay, so what? He's not going to use it. He hides it. It happens with me. I go, I want to buy something. They tell me, sorry, it's only cash. It's less than 1% digitalized. But why? Right? There are real barriers to digitalization. And we believe, deeply believe, that this space will not be cracked using the traditional approach to digital payments. You need a real use case.
So the main thing that is stopping it from happening is that there's not real use case for the retailer, right?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yes. The retailer has certain barriers, whether they are mental barriers or real physical barriers. We need to address them wisely. Okay. Today, when I'm at Moul Hanout, I'm making a 7% average margin on my products, and you come and tell me, put this machine, it's going to cost you, I don't know, 1,200 dirhams. And then I will charge you 1.5% out of every transaction. So 1.5 on 7.
So it's 20% of the...
It's 20% of his income. Yeah. He's not gonna do it. Like, why would he give up 20% of his income? 1. 2, do you know what Moul Hanout does with cash? What does he do with cash?
He buys the products.
He buys the products. He needs to have cash available in his drawer. So I come and tell him, okay, 1.5%, and hey, you need to go open a bank account. So now the Moul Hanout thinks that I need to go and get a bank account.
Yeah.
And wait a minute.
And I will pay more tax.
Wait a minute. This money that you're collecting from the bank card, you'll have it available in your account in 48 hours. So I need to wait 2 days before I can use that money. They will not digitalize. I assure you, they will not digitalize. All these attempts by the big institutions, I don't see how it's going to work. It's not going to move the needle. You need something innovative to change the game. And we have it. We're working on it, and it's going to be announced soon.
Okay, looking forward to know more. Very interesting. Maybe 1 or 2 last questions.
Absolutely.
What do you do outside of work? Something you like doing?
I'm doing some training now.
Okay.
So I'm doing boxing.
Nice.
I haven't always done that, so don't think I'm a professional boxer. But I started to pick up back on getting in shape.
Okay.
Because I had lost that for a while due to being always so busy and traveling and whatnot. My Saturdays and Sundays, I really I like to chill work. Like I would spend time in the pool with my laptop, of course. But I would do like really kind of like blue sky thinking, thinking about 3, 4, 5 years down the line. What's the next step we're going to be doing? So it's a lot of thinking. I love being around people that I like. So I spend time with friends, with families. I travel. In Morocco, one of the beautiful things about Morocco is the abundance of destinations inside Morocco. So you can take your car, go to Marrakesh. And in Marrakesh alone, I am so surprised at the infinite opportunities that you have today. That every time you go to Marrakesh, you discover something new. It reminded me of the gastronomy scene in New York. It's like one day I did the math. It's like for me, if I wanted to try every restaurant in New York, it would take me 8 years to go back to the same restaurant that I tried. In Marrakesh, it's kind of like a wonderland, right? You have all these beautiful riads. You have a lot of activity there. It's just so charming in its own unique way. You go, when I feel like I want a change of scene, I will go north. Beautiful coast. It's one of the most beautiful coastlines I've seen anywhere in the world. And I wonder to myself how much potential Morocco has. How much potential Morocco has. So there's that. I love to watch Netflix when I want to disconnect. So sometimes I would put on a movie, and if there's something interesting, I would watch. And that's about it. Like, I don't have a lot of free time. Like building and running a startup, specifically in this stage, is very taxing on time, energy, and your availability.
Yeah.
Specifically when you're fundraising and recruiting and building the technology and building the partnerships, and all of that is happening simultaneously. It doesn't leave you with a lot of spare time.
Is there a book that you would recommend, or a film, a movie, whatever, something you would recommend that people should see or watch or read?
Yes, absolutely. So before I went to business school, like in my mid to late 20s, I was very inspired by the writings of Malcolm Gladwell. So I read all his books, The Tipping Point, Outliers, David and Goliath, The Underdog, beautiful book. But one of the most fascinating books I've ever read, and I don't think this book ever got its due attention and publicity, it's called Napoleon's Glance by Professor William Duggan from Columbia Business School. Very inspiring book about strategic intuition. Highly recommend it.
Great. Samer, thank you so much. It was really, really nice talking to you.
Shukran.
Very interesting.
I enjoyed the conversation.
Really happy to meet you.
Thank you for having me here. And thank you for accepting a podcast in English.
No. I told you it's okay, of course.
It's perfect. And really honored to be here today.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Shukran.
Thanks. And in a few months,
when we announce,
we'll finish the conversation.
Definitely.
Not finish, but do another part. Continue
the conversation.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Samer.
Shukran, Mohamed.
Merci beaucoup d'avoir écouté cet épisode jusqu'au bout. Si vous avez aimé cet épisode, partagez-le autour de vous, abonnez-vous à la chaîne. Et comme vous le savez, on est sur YouTube, mais aussi sur Spotify et Apple Podcasts. Donc partagez NEXTWAVE autour de vous pour nous aider à faire connaître ces podcasts.